Welcome to Miami-Dade North Community College for tonight's nationally televised boys basketball game between Miami Senior High School and Miami Carroll City High School. A 6'10", 212-pound senior, number 44, Jamel Martinez.
In talent alone, there's like a 30, 40-point difference in what you're going to see on the court, and there's no way they're going to stop Martinez under the basket.
Martinez, the turnaround. Martinez.
Oh. Cross court it goes to Martinez from the outside. He puts it in.
Needless to say, Jamel Martinez of Miami High is the subject of the hottest recruiting war in the country.
It's with so much grace, Jamel Martinez is making an impact on the national level. Scouts say for his 6'10" frame, he has the finesse that has made him a hot commodity among colleges. Just this past weekend, Martinez made a trip to Kentucky. They flew him from Miami to Lexington in a private Lear jet.
There's Martinez for three, and he hits it. Into Martinez, turnaround jumper, tie game.
University of Kentucky basketball coach Rick Pitino did not come to Miami yesterday for the weather. He was at the Miami High game last night to see the Stingarees' 6'10" center, Jamel Martinez.
Martinez is averaging 25 points and 14 boards a game. It's those kinds of numbers that is drawing attention from college powerhouses.
Big 6'9" guy, the leading scorer and rebounder for Miami Senior. As we mentioned just this morning, announced he will go to the University of Kentucky. In fact, Rick Pitino attended Miami Senior's game last night. They played last night, won by 30, and Pitino was on hand.
Now Martinez is concentrating, keeping the Stingarees' winning tradition, which has been a battle since he's the only returning player from last year's championship team.
Your state title game, you can pretty much count on one of these two teams being in it.
From the Lakeland Civic Center, this is the Class 4A state championship game between Chamberlain and Miami High. Bill, I know that Rick Pitino of Kentucky is here tonight to inspect the merchandise, so to speak, and I know you talked with him. What's his opinion on things?
Just came by, and all he wanted to do was talk about Martinez.
We are set to go with Jamel Martinez jumping center against Jesse Salters. We'll give you the starting lineups. I know you've seen them already. Martinez had the ball knocked away, but away from or behind the back. Layup for Martinez. Hanks with the ball from Mike Johnson back to Martinez. He runs through his legs on that. Goes to the bucket, put it up and in, and he'll go to the free throw line. Marino fouled him. Then Hanks will pass the ball to Mike Johnson. They go into Martinez. He's got four guys around him. Puts it up and it goes in anyhow. 3 seconds on the clock, 2 seconds, and that'll do it. Miami High with a 30-point lead at the half, and listen to the fans. So here, a very interested spectator in this game. Look at it, Martinez. Martinez off the back of the iron, got it right back, put it up to the glass.
Great follow.
21 points for Jamel Martinez. Here's the ovation for Martinez. They finished the year #1 in the state of Florida. They defend their state championship and led by co-MVPs Jamel Martinez and Trevin Joseph. Martinez with 28 points, Trevin Joseph with 23 points, and the Miami High Stingarees with their second straight championship and 3 in the last 4 years.
It's just a great feeling. To win a state championship is great, but to do it 2 years in a row, it's just a magnificent feeling. I'm just so happy for these kids.
People who are perennial winners, and you see that in Michael Jordan, you see that in certain people, not to compare a situation, any of that, but the average human being, I think, throughout my years of experiencing people, when they win, they have this sense of satisfaction that usually ends up in a letdown or in a, they get complacent is the word I want to use. To me, winning made me more thirsty to win more.
No one could ever question his commitment. His commitment was always more than any of his players.
He led his team, his coaches. We all were, Coach was an aggressive guy. And so was everybody under him. And that was part of why we was who we were.
A guy that had unbelievable passion and invested an unbelievable amount of belief into the kids that were around him.
He believes in you. And then he instills a confidence in you to believe in yourself and then to buy into the commitment to win.
We believe we're going to win every day. I mean, we never thought we could lose. Our kids were just so hard-nosed and so tough. And we sold that in a way that without saying it, we didn't say, we're going to win. We just didn't think anybody could beat us. Then as you go through the years, this became habitual for us. We called the Final Four the Miami High Invitational. We'd refer to it because we were there every year.
It was a familiar sight in the 80s. Alex Ramos leading the way in 87. Douglas Edwards and company doing the trick for the 89 title. Then last year, Jamel Martinez was the big name as the Stings won their third title in 4 years. In 1991, the pattern continued. Only the names changed as Miami won its way back to the state tournament on Thursday, beating Plant City to sit one win away from state title number 3 in a row.
But just to be there, it was special too. But then I realized playing at Miami High, it was almost, like a pedigree, we used to going. My 4 years in high school, I went to state every year. So it was like, I guess we was accustomed to it. Anything less would be, unacceptable.
We expect to win district, we expect to win regional, and we expect to win state. So if we go up to Lakeland or Tallahassee and we lost up at state, our season was a failure. That's the way we looked at it.
With 2 straight state trophies to their credit, the Stings are looking for a three-peat, the trifecta, a trio of titles.
We're going for three-peat. The Lakers couldn't do it. The Stings going to do it?
It's a different bunch of kids, so, the old theory of doing it again, it maybe is not as relevant because it's a whole new group of kids who are experiencing this for the first time, and that adds the excitement to it.
The Stings' motto is a full 32, high-pressure defense for 32 minutes. It is frenetic, chaotic, and confusing, except to the Stings. In a word, their style is
defense.
Aggressive.
Defense. Yeah, I think it's a fun way to play because there's not really an offense. You just, run, play defense, and everything comes together.
From the top guy on the pyramid to the bottom guy, they came in and they played hard and they played aggressive. And it was the first high school team that I had been around. Down here, we were always scoring teams, right? Everybody was scoring, but they played D. They tried to lock you up and they were physical.
That team is probably the best defensive team you've ever seen in high school basketball. I mean, literally, teams could not get the ball across half court. I mean, we would play good teams, and if the turnovers that team would force pressing, teams could not get a shot at the basket. We had a bunch of, some guys that played football, undersized guys. I don't think any of those guys played Division I basketball.
See, most teams, they have one superstar, and when he get tired, nobody can fill in for him. So I think we can do that.
Edwards is the superstar of this team, a complete offensive player. He's complemented by 3 members of the Stings football team who came up a smidgen, a tiny millimeter short of playing for the 4A football title.
It is a great motivation because what I really wanted was a ring in football. But I settled for a basketball ring, just like all the other players have.
You have to subject kids and teach them how to interrelate together as a unit to try for the betterment of the whole. The most underrated thing in our program is all these guys that were not the Edwards brothers, that were not Devin Davis, that were not Cesar Portillo, how much they had to do with the success of the program.
Miami's championships the previous 2 years were won by an average of 31 points. There would be no runaway last night. Even though the Stings had leads of 7, 10, and 13 points at the end of the first 3 quarters, the Washington Wildcats were controlling the pace. By the fourth quarter, the pressure the Stings normally apply to opponents was being applied to them. Miami turnovers and fouls helped Washington chip away at the lead. And when the Cats' leading scorer, Cordell Wingate, hit the three-pointer with 38 seconds left, it set up overtime at 63-all. In the OT, the Stings held Washington to a pair of free throws while they hit 4, played crunch time defense, and in the end, were champions once again. Many folks didn't expect this one to be close. What they got was a classic high school basketball game.
Our goal all this year was three-peat and see what we won.
It's a dream if you can win it one time, but to have done it 3 times in a row, maybe somewhere along the way I'll realize what's happened here, but
I'm just happy as I can be right now.
Miami High Stingarees with a classy title now as 3-time state champions. In Tallahassee, Cambrell Marshall, Channel 10, Eyewitness News.
That was fabulous. That was three-peat. I remember the shirts, bright yellow shirts that said three-peat on it. In '88, Carroll City went on to win the state handily. So if we'd have won that game and won the state, we'd have gone 87, 88, 89, 90, 91. It would have been a 5-peat because we did win it in 89, 90, 91.
You know, you're up at the top. People are always going to shoot for you. The reason we were successful is because we worked. You know, we made these kids better. It wasn't just, you know, for us, it was year-round. You know, we had a program, not just a basketball team.
Kids in different places want to go to like, let's say you want to play football at University of Miami. Like, that's great, you know, but Miami High basketball was like that for a lot of kids. Like, you grew up, and if you were a basketball head in the city as a young, you wanted to play at Miami High. That was the powerhouse. Now, like any team, there are only so many spots, so we all can't play at Miami High, but that's what you aspired to do, was to be good enough to be wanted by Shaky and Miami High.
In order to have a great program, it's got to be year. It's not 1 or 2 years. We had great teams. What Miami High had was a great program.
Just why is Miami Senior so dominant?
There's so much pride here that, when we talk about our gym, we talk about the Asylum, we definitely are very proud of it, and our kids are too.
This is Southwest Miami. It's a tough place to live, a tough place to grow up. And if you want to play basketball here for Miami Senior High, well, it's tough to make the team. But once you do, then the home gym, becomes a sanctuary, a safe place, a nice place to go. Now, don't get me wrong. It's not that the gym is such a great place to play. In fact, it isn't. It's definitely seen better days. But you know what? These guys haven't lost a home game here in 5 years. That's enough to drive the opposition crazy. Maybe that's why they call this place the Asylum.
I mean, I think we went damn near 2 years without losing a game in the state of Florida. Maybe more than that. Maybe three years without losing a game to a team from the state of Florida.
We either made half of Miami happy or half of Miami sad. So when we lost, we made the other half real happy. There was a celebration everywhere else in this town about Miami High loss. All right, they finally got beat. We got them. But we never lost more than 3 games a year in the last 10 years I coached.
And the Miami High Stingarees will play Oviedo in the state championship.
I say on behalf of my entire coaching staff, I just want to thank you guys for given us an unbelievable year. I can't begin, Steve, like family, as all the Edwards are, but it's something that's, it touches me to know that he's finally graduating. I can remember 4 years ago when he broke his arm trying to dunk on a table and doing things like that. And I mean, it's been a lot of memories, and we've shared some great times, and tonight is it. It's the last time you'll ever put the uniform on.
Well, it just wasn't meant to be. It was not until about 15 seconds were left in the game that anybody from Miami High would believe that we couldn't pull it out. Oviedo broke the dream of Shaky and his players 74-67. Oviedo may have broken the dream of 4 straight championships, but they didn't break the spirit of your Stingarees. And to the seniors, thanks for the memories. That's it for sports.
To the 1992 Miami High basketball banquet. This is our 11th banquet, and it seems to get better and bigger every year. But it's important to understand that sometimes disappointments come about when these things happen, and our youngsters have to deal with that. And it's important to understand the kind of pressures that our players have to go through in attempting to live up to other people's standards. I want people to remember that, and sometimes things just don't work out. And let's really honor these kids who have given everything they got to make Miami High basketball and make us all proud.
When we did lose a game, I pitied the next opponent. because our practices, there's some angry young men practicing the next day. The personality of this community was about work ethics. Our seniors, the junior, upperclassmen, young kids would come in foolish, they come out of junior high, they all got nonsense. They walk in this building and they tell them right away, dude, you ain't gonna last very long here. You better get your act right.
So damn it, when he's lined up, make sure you hit him and stay with him.
Brown tip, no. Brown again, no. Brown again, no. I'm getting tired of saying it. Davis for a change, and he's fouled.
Davis gave the elbow to Jeremy Hyatt. That's the second time they haven't caught him there.
Edwards with another steal. Ahead to Parkerson, who lays it in. And they can start celebrating in South Florida with a 14-point lead. Miami Senior High looking for title number 5 in the last 7 years. And that Pringle again will lay it up and misses it. Davis rebounds, put back, no, goes back again and hits it. Devin Davis with a dozen. Miami Senior stretches it out to 17.
Aha, Shaky going formal now.
Three-pointer will come up way short as it was partly deflected by John Nance. And once again, as usual, I guess would be a better way to phrase it, Miami Senior High's Stingery have won the Florida Class 4A basketball championship. Dominating performance, and they did it with a lot of defense after some early struggles and an awful lot of hustle.
It feels terrific. I tell you what, you think that you can't get another high after you've done this 4 years, but this one feels as good as any. I mean, if not better. It's just a great feeling. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 1993 Miami High Basketball Banquet. This is our 12th annual banquet. And since it's become traditional to start the banquet with my ugly face on the screen, I think we'll continue that tradition today. It's been a great year. It's great to have had the opportunities that we had at the end of the season to undo the Oviedo game and the Fletcher game from the year before. 2 years ago, we lost the state championship to Oviedo, and I see security guards high-fiving and people that are from the association with big smiles on their faces that I had never seen before. And so, I mean, I don't know. I don't think Miami is that popular outside of Miami. Let me put it that way. And
this is also the last year of the Edwards regime. What are you going to do next year when there's not an Edwards coming up?
Well, I mean, we're going to miss the Edwards. I'm sure that we're going to have to do something special for the whole family now that Allen is gone. And I don't know that number 32 will ever be worn again in this school.
The funny thing about the Edwards brothers is never has their family been where three brothers have been so different and yet the same. They're all Americans. They're all great players.
Three great talents and different talents. The Doug can control a game. Steve could shoot you out of the gym.
Steven Edwards,
and Allen had a complete game.
You have to give so much credit to Mrs. Edwards because, Doug, degree from Florida State, Allen, degree from Kentucky, and Stevie, degree from UM. You're talking about three kids that got college degrees from three major universities.
You had high-level basketball here. I mean, we were producing 15 to 18 Division I players. If you were in any of your all-city teams, you were going to be a Division I player, probably at a high level. I mean, we're talking about high major. We're talking about Kentucky. We're talking about Florida State, Miami, Florida. These were all great players. They were great times for Miami basketball.
Would you ever consider leaving here?
I mean, I work year to year. I mean, we change as people from one year to the next, so you never know. I've had times when I've said to myself, why am I still doing this? What else is there for me to do?
There was a time where you tried to be a college coach. You applied for the job at FIU when Bob Wutlick got the job.
The FIU thing was not a surprising thing. Like I said, to me, I just threw in my application just to see what would happen, and in the end result, obviously nothing much good happened, but I'm not sure I would have taken the job had I had it offered. I don't know that I want to leave it.
It seems like on the surface you think, oh my God, you work so hard. It was so many things. But I've always said, and I've said to people many times, you're not working when you enjoy what you're doing. It's not work. Time passes. You're just doing what you want to do. And I always said, the old saying, I'd do it if I didn't get paid. Well, how do you get paid for coaching high school? I mean, you get paid a little stipend. You don't do this for the money. I wanted to be the head basketball coach at Miami High, and all my energies were dedicated to that. So for me, part of my success is based on the fact that I was living my passion. I was doing exactly what I wanted to do at that point in my life.
I believe that students wanted to come to play for Shake, to play at Miami High, because of the traditions that we had, and everybody wanted it to continue. Nobody wanted it to end.
What, Shake have done for basketball in the state of Florida, in Miami, as no one has ever done that.
Greatest high school basketball coach in the history of the state of Florida, and maybe one of the greatest coaches, period, of all time.
When you have multiple championships at your level, that's a legacy. You can say you won a couple of tough games, got lucky with a call or lucky shot. When you see a guy that's winning a number of championships at the highest level, that speaks for itself. That is a legacy. That creates a legacy that lives, legacy lives forever.
I started learning about Miami High when I started going to Miami High. The tradition, the legacy, the history, the players that came through there, how hard they worked, the things that they accomplished, what they achieved. So for me to play that first year with Shake and all of that, it was like, okay, you're learning this, you're learning that. And then all right, man, you're a hell of a guy. Like, why are you finna leave?
The day I left the program, it was a mixed emotion day. I knew I had gotten the job at FIU. I had already known that for about 3 or 4 days. I remember talking to Rick Pitino a week before that because I wasn't sure. And Rick said to me, he said, Shake, you're never going to be as happy as you were at Miami High. But you deserve it. You need to take that job because you belong at the Division I level.
I was extremely happy for him. I knew that he was going to have success at FIU, but I hated losing him. Although we had Frank waiting in the wings, but Frank at that time, he had done well in other high schools, but bringing him back and knowing how shaky it was going to be a step.
I was happy. I was building my own program at North Miami High School, and Shaky called and said, he said, I'm just letting you know, it looks like I'm gonna get this job at Florida International. If I go, they're gonna want you back.
Shaky was, he was big with, hiring guys within. Frank was a guy that was involved in every aspect of Miami High basketball, practices, obviously winning state championships with us as an assistant coach. So Frank has been with us since day one at Miami High.
Even though Frank was the JV coach during varsity games, he had a big input in what was going on because that's how everybody respected how much he knew basketball.
He absorbed everything that Shaky would put forth on these kids. I mean, they're both fiery guys, but if you ever see Frank, he certainly is a little more animated. Shaky had his moments, but Frank can let it fly, but pays attention to every single aspect of the game.
I spent 2 weeks kind of trying to convince myself that don't do this. Build your own thing. But just too many lifelong relationships, too many people, my teachers that were still there calling me, the principal, Diego Garcia, calling me, his son, who I grew up playing with, calling me, and and Tiger Nunez, just on and on and on, all Shaky's classmates that ran around and chased us as kids and coached us in the parks. They convinced me to come by. And I went by, and I knew that if I went, I couldn't say no.
In fact, I had the pleasure of hiring Frank. That was great because we knew we wanted him, but Diego Garcia again comes into the office. He goes, "You can interview all you want, but it's Frank." I go, "I agree with you, it's Frank, but I think it'll add to his credibility if all these coaches from everywhere are applying and we still pick them. You can do whatever you want, but it's Frank." I go, "Okay, Diego, it's Frank."